Hey everybody, I'm Mike. This is Budget Guns and Gear Reviews, and you are watching The Right of the People, where we use the first to defend the second every Friday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. So uncover your keyboards, fire up your fingers, and come join the conversation. Hey everybody, I'm Mike. This is Budget Guns and Gear Reviews, and it is not Friday, nor is it 11:30 p.m. It is Thursday, March 11th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Eastern. Had to do a little bit of flip-flopping because I wanted to bring you guys a show this week, but I'm not going to be able to do it Friday night, tomorrow night, because I'm going camping, have to get up early tomorrow night, or tomorrow. Saturday morning, goodness. And I have to get up early tomorrow morning because I have to take my wonderful wife to a doctor's appointment, so I can't do it later tonight. So 7 p.m. before Clover goes on later tonight at 9 o'clock was my option. Unfortunately, that means I'm being a dick and I'm quarking Night Strike, to whom I do not apologize because apology is weakness, right, Squib? So, yeah. Suck it up and take it there, one who strikes at night. Speaking of which, hey, welcome to hanging out with me tonight, Night Strike.
Yeah, hey. Is my mic any better? I turned the volume down a bit.
Yeah, it's perfect, dude.
Okay, good. So, but yeah, don't worry, I'll get you back one of these days. You won't see it coming.
Well, there's very likely going to be a change in the time of The Right of the People. Maybe not so, well, it is a change, but it's more of a return, because I'm pretty sure that starting next week, we're going to return to 7 p.m. Eastern instead of 11:30 p.m. Eastern.
If you did it earlier in the evening, I could jump in, but, 11 p.m. at night, I'm either playing video games at that time or I've fallen asleep at the keyboard.
Well, it's my schedule is changing, and there are some alterations happening in Budget's lifestyle, so we're going to be going ahead to do that to accommodate it. I'm going to be teaching more classes and stuff on Saturdays, so I want to be able to get up early, so I'm going to go ahead and do the 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time slot for The Right of the People on Fridays. Return to its original home, folks. I apologize for those of you that mean that that will cause to miss the live stream. I sincerely apologize and regret that, but I welcome those of you who will be able to catch it, and hopefully the ones that don't get it live will be able to watch it in the replay or download it in podcast format. Sorry. There I go, being weak again, right? How dare I apologize?
Yeah, and I just got the notification that you're live.
Sweet. I'd like to welcome everybody out there in the chat. So far, we got Gunpowder Beauty herself, Jessie Rowe, out there. She was first. Jason Stewart's in the house. Kingpin, haven't seen you in a while, buddy. Let's see. Gun Loving Grandpa's out there. Scott79. Who else? Defense Dad and Pickle is out there. Pickle, I'm sure, is still at work and unable to join us at this earlier time slot. I'm sure we will miss him. He does say, though, that he blames me for the passing of these gun control bills, that all the fear-mongering I've done has backfired. I think, what do you guys think? Should I further embrace the whole fear-monger title? I mean, I'm already going to put out the sticker of the certified 2A fear-monger thing, which, take a look at last week's thumbnail. You'll see a picture of it. So should I go ahead and just unionize and make a 2A fearmongers local? What do you guys think?
So would that make you fearmonger supreme, or would that make you president and fearmonger?
The Grand High Fearmonger is my title.
Grand High fearmonger. Oh,
yes,
wow.
I am the Grand High Fearmonger.
All right. Glad we got that settled.
Hey, I don't know who you are calling me, but you're calling at the wrong time. Leave me a message, because I'm live there, Bubba. Probably a damn bill collector or something.
Most likely.
I mean, they're calling me, right?
Let's
see, who else do we have?
You said it, not I.
We have Rich White in the house. Again, Gun-loving grandpa's out there. Buck is. Let's see. Guitar Man Pete is watching. My wonderful daughter Morgan is watching. Hello, sweetheart.
Yep, your spawn is out there.
Yes, that's it. Calaveras 32 special. I'm changing just so I don't have to have you on the panel anymore. That's it. That is my. I mean, I couldn't do something as simple as not send you the link, right? Clint Torres is in the house. Speaking of links, if you got a link and you know who you are, go ahead and hop in if you got a chance or you have the inclination. I'd be glad to have you. I mean, there's a reason I throw those links out, folks. If you're out there watching and Guitar Man Pete says, we're trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. I actually had one of those call me the other day and I blocked it.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But if you're out there watching and you haven't sounded off in the chat, go ahead and sound off in the chat. I want to hear from you. I want to know you're there. I want to say hi. This is a conversation. It is not just me talking to you. It is us talking together. That's one thing I love about this medium is that we get to have that conversation. So please join in. If you're watching this on replay, sound off in the chat below. Not chat, but in the comment section below. Even if you disagree, both live or in replay, that's fine. Just keep it respectful. Keep it, try to keep it family friendly anyway, and we're all good. I don't care if you disagree with me. That's great. I love to have my ideas challenged so that I can have to think about my ideas, examine them, and see if I need to change something. So I'm all right with that. James McDonald is here. Let's see. That's a new one. My brother used to live up in Pennsylvania. There are a lot of gun-loving Democrats up there. I wonder how they feel about all this. Yeah.
They don't
care. Yep. Well, you know.
Unless the only time they'll care is when they find out they voted for the wrong guy and that people are at their door trying to take away their guns. That's the only time they'll care, unfortunately.
Well, you can like guns and not be pro 2A. And that's what we see with a lot of the folks that, you know, I've wrestled with this issue over and over, and I know there are a lot of people right now saying that, oh, you can vote for Democrats and still be pro 2A. And well, I've come to the conclusion, because this was one of the times when I've taken my ideas out, I've examined it, kicked it around, seen if I needed to modify it. But I've come back to my original position, I think, is that if you don't vote 2A, you ain't 2A. And that's just that. You might like guns. I'm not saying that that's not the thing, but there are other issues that are more important to you. And if that's what floats your boat, that's what floats your boat. I wish you well and hope you could come back to the party and see what, see what
you missed.
See what the truth is. See what you're giving away by voting other than to protect your Second Amendment rights. Yeah. Ron 2A Matters is there. Hi, how you doing? And Gabriel's in the house. So, what are we talking about tonight? Well,
it's up to you.
Today we were stabbed in the back by treacherous, weak-kneed, rhinoed Republicans who, yes, I know, weren't the deciding factor, but they still voted for gun control bills anyway. We had 2 gun control bills pass the House today. H.R. 8 and H.R. 1446. Let's go ahead and talk about those as soon as I can pull my topics up. Almost had a technical diddly there, right? We still have a technical diddly because I haven't put that on. Dang it, see?
Something occurs to me. They pass these bills, but why is it whenever we want to do pro-gun legislation, it always goes to committee? But these bills, they always fast-track them too, and they never run them into committees.
They introduced these bills on Monday, and they voted on them on Wednesday, yet H.R. 38, the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act, hasn't even made it to committee.
Yeah, why do their bills get to go to committee and any other bill, toward the contrary, goes to committee? Are you seeing a trend here? I'm seeing a trend.
Well, because they're the ones in charge right now. Although, and remember this, because Pickle points something out that's very important, And voting Republicans is not necessarily pro-2A, because the entire time that the Congress, the House, the Senate, and the White House was controlled by Republicans, they did zero, zip, zilch, nada, dick all on reciprocity and Hearing Protection Act. So let's not make the mistake of thinking that Republican equals pro-2A, because it don't. Pro-2A equals pro-2A, period.
The problem is it's really hard to find an actual candidate that's pro-2A, period.
I know. Trust me, I know. It sucks.
Do not go by the NRA rating. I'm telling you that right now, because the NRA rating means diddly.
Listen, don't trust... I'm going to switch back to the main view here because we're kind of getting sidetracked, but that's all right. Don't trust anybody's rating of anyone. Look for yourself. I know to a lot of people out there, not necessarily the people watching this, because y'all are all right, but to a lot of people at large, actually doing the research, performing your due diligence, and looking into a candidate's voting record. And if they don't have a voting record, the record of things that they've said and statements that they've made, to see if what they're doing and what they're saying is actually aligned with what you want. People just, they're the same people that all they do is read the headlines and they don't read the article. People vote like that all the time. They just, he's a Republican, so yeah, okay, I'm going to vote this. Or, he's a Democrat, so yeah, I'm going to vote this. Oh, yeah, that person's a Libertarian, so I'm going to vote that way. Party doesn't mean shit. Look at their record. The old saw about actions speaking louder than words. It's a cliche for a reason, folks. It's true. I mean, that's what I think anyhow.
No.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into the main topic here. This is a piece from Reuters. U.S. House passes 2 Democratic-backed gun control bills by Richard Cowan from Today. Washington. The U.S. House of Representatives on Thursday approved a pair of gun control bills as Democrats seized upon a shifting political landscape that they said improved chances for enacting new laws after years of failed attempts. The first measure, which passed the Democratic-led House 227 to 203, would close a long-standing loophole in gun laws by expanding background checks to those purchasing weapons over the internet, at gun shows, and through certain private transactions. Only 8 Republicans joined the Democrats in backing the bill. However, folks, 8 Republicans did join the Democrats in backing this bill. The second bill, passed 219 to 210 with only 2 Republicans supporting it, would give authorities 10 business days for federal background checks to be completed before a gun sale can be licensed. Currently, such sales can proceed if the government cannot complete complicated background checks of prospective buyers within 3 days. President Joe Biden is a supporter of expanded gun control measures. The legislation may face a tougher battle in the U.S. Senate, where Biden's fellow Democrats hold an even slimmer majority than in the House. Yes, by 1. And that tiebreaker is Kamala, the VP. Thank you, Biden voters. The bills follow a series of deadly U.S. mass shootings over the past decade. Gun control is a divisive issue in the United States, which enshrines gun rights in its Constitution. Most Republicans strongly oppose gun restrictions, while most Democrats argue that new laws are needed to curb gun violence. The House Judiciary Committee's senior Republican, Jim Jordan, wrote on Twitter that House Democrats were making it harder for law-abiding citizens to buy a gun. Many Democrats want to go further by banning sales of some high-capacity military-style rifles that can fire ammunition rapidly. Democratic Representative Mike Thompson, who has spearheaded a drive for expanded gun control for years, said 30 people are killed by gun violence daily in the United States, with that number growing to 100 if suicides and accidental deaths involving firearms are counted. At the same time, Thompson said 170 felons and 50 domestic abusers are stopped from buying a gun every day. It only makes sense that if you expand it, you'll stop even more felons, more domestic abusers, Thompson said. Republicans opposing the bills argued that the legislation would not make American streets safer and would infringe upon the right to bear arms guaranteed under the U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment. With Democrats now controlling the White House, along with both chambers of Congress, they are seeking to pursue liberal goals thwarted when Republicans led either the House or the Senate. Democrats have said their position has been further strengthened by turmoil within the National Rifle Association, the influential gun lobby closely aligned with Republicans. The Senate's long-standing filibuster rule makes it so most legislation requires 60 votes to proceed in the 100-seat chamber rather than a simple majority, and Republicans could use the maneuver to try to block gun control measures. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said that if it happens, Democrats would come together as a caucus and we'll see how we're going to get this done, possibly hinting at ending or altering the filibuster rule. A bipartisan gun control bill in 2013, proposed after a mass shooting at a Connecticut elementary school, failed on a vote of 54 to 46 in the Senate, short of the needed 60 votes. During a news conference before the gun control votes, a tearful Representative Lucy McBath, who lost her son to gun violence, said, "No one deserves the kind of pain and anguish that people are suffering." I would agree, ma'am. I would absolutely agree that no one deserves that kind of pain and anguish. For those that don't know, I lost a daughter, not to gun violence, which, by the way, I believe there's no such thing as gun violence. There's just violence. Mine was to a car. My daughter was lost to a car wreck. So I can empathize with the loss that you feel. But that doesn't mean,
doesn't that mean we need more car control?
Yes, it does. We need more car control. We need to get rid of high capacity assault trucks. Anyhow.
Exactly. I agree.
Anyhow, while I empathize with your emotions, truly do, I disagree with your assertion that the way to prevent such suffering is to strip the law-abiding citizenry of their Second Amendment rights. I would say that the way to prevent such suffering as you have endured is to allow more people and encourage more people and make it easier for people to exercise their rights to defend themselves. Yeah, that's what I would say. But hey, what am I? I'm just some fat loudmouth with a camera and a microphone, right?
You said it.
I've been saying it for years. Sorry, folks. Gotta adjust my microphone boom here.
And he's got to wet the whistle.
Nah, my mic boom doesn't want to stay in place. Doggone it. I had it adjusted improper law. I think I need to get kind of a counterweight to put on the back of it over there. Trying to integrate some new equipment, that's all.
The technical difficulties, demons again.
I know. Well, let's see what people out in the chat are saying. Rich White, referring to my earlier kerfluffle, says, yep, it's not the right of the people without a technical error. So true, so true. Jacob S. says, this is a whole lot of bull. Do not let it pass. Well, Jacob, I'm sad to tell you it already passed the House. Now we have to be on guard against it in the Senate. So what we need to, well, we'll get to what we need to do here after a bit. Defense Dad says, realistically, they needed this bill in order to be able to get a gun registry passed later. Yes, absolutely correct. Because, universal background checks aren't working. We're still getting all these horrible crimes happening. What we need to do is make sure that all guns are registered. Because I can tell you what, there's absolutely no freaking way to enforce this stupid background check law, quote unquote, universal background checks, which will always be anything but universal because a criminal, by the very nature of the word, will not comply with the law, which I guess is going to make me a criminal because you know what? I ain't registering shit. And unless I'm going through a dealer, which I already have to do, so undergo a background check when I go through a dealer, or when I go to a gun show and buy from a dealer, or as I often do, when I buy online and from a dealer, I still have to go through background checks. So this closed no loophole. What they're talking about is private sales between me and you. And I'm going to tell you what, I will never, ever under any circumstances, comply with a background check requirement for a private sale. If I want to sell my gun to somebody and I'm satisfied that they're on the up and up, which I usually do via asking for a Ohio concealed carry license, if they have that, I know they're good, I'll sell it to them, and I don't give a shit. I'm not registering jack shit. And that's that.
So you'd sell a rifle to me, right?
No, because that would not be legal.
Really?
Yeah, I can't sell a rifle to you interstate transfer like that. Unless I shipped it to your FFL.
No, I thought it was long guns. It was okay, but handguns.
Long guns are in an adjacent state, which your state is not adjacent to mine.
Ah, that's what that was. I thought it was long guns all across the board.
Now, long guns are an adjacent state. I don't know. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong out there in the chat, please let me know. I'm sure you will. But here's this is a piece from Breitbart from today. 8 House Republicans vote for Democrat gun control bill. A significant gun control measure mandating universal background checks passed the Democrat-controlled House Thursday with the help of 8 Republicans. CNN reports the 8 Republicans were Vern Buchanan of Florida, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, Maria Salazar of Florida, Andrew Garbarino of New York, Chris Smith of New Jersey, Fred Upton of Michigan, Carlos Gimenez of Florida, and Adam Kinzinger of Illinois.
Do you see a trend here with these so-called Republicans?
Mm-hmm.
They're in places of which, yeah, you wouldn't, you would normally see a D next to their name instead of an R. Not so much with Florida, but with New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Pennsylvania. Yeah.
OBS says blood pressure rising. Yeah, no kidding. I'm way behind in the chat, too. Let's see. Jason Stewart says, Schumer doesn't have the right to hold our rights hostage and threaten more tyranny if he doesn't get his way. Sure he does. He's been a stalwart leader in Congress for decades. The people of his district keep sending him back. He has every right to do whatever he wants. Peasant, be quiet. Who are you to question him?
Well, if you're going to call me a peasant, I'll go get my AK.
Clint Torres says, I still can't figure out how passing more laws is going to affect crime that's being caused by people already breaking the law. Well, that's because
all these laws aren't meant to actually fight crime or do anything to stop criminals. All these laws are just to burden the common man even more so than they already are. That's all it is.
It's almost as if gun control isn't about the gun, it's about the control. I wonder where you may have heard that before. Let's see. Defense Dad. I can hear Oprah now. You get a 4473. You get a 4473. You all get a 4473. Well, only if there's some guns that go with it. The simple fact that there has never been one single gun crime solved because of a registered weapon, it's never happened ever. M. Gabriel says you could buy long guns from adjacent state FFLs, not private parties.
Is that what that was? I thought it was, you can get a private party too.
Jason Stewart says, I registered to vote. They took my vote away. I registered with the IRS. They took my money. I registered my wedding and they took my life away. Registration sucks. Roll call says Frankenstein just submitted her assault weapon bill with what I read stops the import of guns. Well, yeah, that doesn't shock me. Rich White says, not true, or people wouldn't be able to buy rifles from Wanamaker like Obnoxious One did. Maybe, did he have that sent to his home FFL?
He's in North Carolina.
Yeah, did he have that sent to his home FFL? I don't know. I don't know the circumstances of his purchase. Hey, Orange Man, if you're out there, let me know. Bro, I know you got a link. Hop on, brother. if he can.
He might still be doing the rounds.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's get back to the main topic here. So, yes, we have these wonderful folks who screwed us. Vox noted that Fitzpatrick, Smith, and Upton not only voted for the gun control measure, but actually co-sponsored it. Republicans, so-called. Breitbart News observed the gun control measure, H.R. 8, passed the House by a vote of 227 to 203 Thursday morning. The bill expands point-of-sale background checks on retail firearm sales to cover private transactions as well. Representative Bob Good, R. Virginia, warned the universal checks will translate into a national gun registry. The Wall Street Journal quoted Good saying this bill creates a de facto gun registry by involving the federal government in every gun transfer, including private transfers and gifts, or else how will we enforce these requirements? Exactly.
Surprise, surprise.
It's nothing more than a stepping stone toward. As a matter of fact, let's read what Mr. Good said. This is from Financial Survival Network. Bob Good, Democrat gun control creates de facto gun registry. I suspect this is going to link us back to Breitbart because this is by A.W.R. Hawkins. Representative Bob Good, Republican, Virginia, is warning that Democrats' universal background check legislation creates a de facto gun registry in America. The legislation, H.R. 8, is sponsored by Representative Mike Thompson, Democrat, California. Companion legislation was put forward in the Senate by Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat, Connecticut. The gun control expands point-of-sale background checks at retail to include point-of-sale background checks for private sales also. Representative Good warns that this involves government on all gun sales, thereby creating a paper trail that will serve as a registry. You know, that scene from Red Dawn. Go to the gun store, get the Form 4473. The Wall Street Journal quoted Good saying, this bill creates a de facto gun registry by involving the federal government in every gun transfer, including private transfers and gifts, or else how will we enforce these requirements? Yeah, it links us back to Breitbart, so let's go back to Breitbart. Good added, for my Democrat friends who suggest that conservatives and gun owners are paranoid about a national registry, you bet we are. Because, folks, we all know what follows registration, don't we? Confiscation. Just in case y'all didn't realize that. Roll call says, stuck at work, have a great show. Defense Dad said the worst gun crime I've seen lately was someone selling a high-point pistol for $299. Well, bless their hearts if they could get it. Wow. Gizzard says, no, he bought it at Wanamaker and took it home with him. Oh, wow. Sweet. I'm thinking I might go to Wanamaker in, what is it, April? Thinking I might go. Because I have the time to go, and I think I might actually end up. So maybe I'll come home with a rifle. Don't tell the wife. Let's see. Robert Moore says it passed. Yep, it passed the House, now on to the Senate, and he echoes my sentiment of they will not pass it, hopefully. Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't pass in the Senate. That's what we have to watch out for, folks, at this point. We have to be contacting our senators, especially the ones who may be a bit wishy-washy, and let them know that they will suffer at the ballot box, even if it means voting for the other party if they vote for this shit. Let them know. And then that's the only way that you can make them feel it is with your vote. Assuming they're not using Dominion machines. But assuming that it isn't Dominion machines, that's how you hurt them. You let them know that your vote is going to be cast elsewhere. And if enough of us do that, maybe, possibly, maybe, they might listen to it. Oops. Might. Maybe. But that's really all we can do. And we need to be doing it. Especially if they try to rust this crap through the Senate as quickly as they did through the House. You know, you have to be suspect of a bill that gets pushed through as quickly as this did, without adequate time for people to even read it, let alone talk about it, comment on it, debate it, or anything. Just ram it right through. Yeah, something fishy about that. Jason Stewart says, if these bills pass, can we block or delay them in court? I think that would be the next step if they pass the Senate, is for someone to seek an injunction on these.
That would be the only route.
Yeah. I don't have the money to do that. Hopefully some of the larger orgs that are prone to do stuff like this will, like FPC, GOA, etc. Time will tell, because they'd have to have standing. They'd have to find someone who was damaged by it, who would be the figurehead for the case. Pickle says the worst I've seen was a Gen 5 Glock on the shelf for $2,000. Yeah, that's a frickin' crime right there. And I'm a Glock fan, but yeah, no. So yeah, hopefully this stuff doesn't pass the Senate, because we got 50 Republicans in the Senate, 50 Democrats or independents, and then Kamala Harris to break the tie. That's if they kill the legislative filibuster, which Chuck Schumer's vaguely, subtly threatening to do. I hope that Mr. Schumer will realize exactly what the consequences of that will be if we ever have a clean election and Republicans win control of the Senate again. You could kiss any damn thing you want. Well, no, I was going to say maybe they could kiss any damn thing they want goodbye. And the Republicans will run roughshod over them if they want to go ahead and play by those rules. But then again, historically speaking, the Republicans have been jellyfish-spined and weak-kneed and have not acted in as ruthless a manner as Democrats have whenever they've been in charge. Otherwise, we'd have concealed carry reciprocity. We'd have the Hearing Protection Act. Shit, we might not have an NFA. So, I don't know. What do you think, Night Strike? Do you think that the Republicans would ever be that ruthless and repay tit for tat here? Or do you think they just, oh, we can't do that, we got to be nice guys, as they've historically done? Night Strike? Did you leave? You're muted if you're talking, dude.
Tech difficulties.
Gotcha. Hey, it's my show. Of course. Clint Torres says, don't worry, once they pass the For the People bill, we'll never see a Republican in office again. Is that what you were talking about with me earlier, Night Strike? Unless your diddlies are still technically, which they may be. Yeah, I'm having some technical diddlies with my friggin' mic stand. Arrgh. Calavera says, you know that Schumer will try to get rid of a filibuster, but in a way that guarantees it's reinstated if Dems lose. Yeah, right? Clint, what do you mean by the For the People bill? What is that? Is that where they're going to let people vote by mail and internet and telephone and smoke signals and carrier pigeons and bicycle messengers and shit like that? Because if that's the case, you know, I'm sure they'll have adequate protections and safeguards against fraud in that. I mean, we definitely want to have a clear and clean and unbiased election process, don't we? I mean, everybody feels that that's in the best interest of the country, don't we all? Sorry, my body's reacting to so much bullshit coming out of my mouth right there, right? Yeah, of course. If that's the case, if that shit ever passes, we'll never have a clean election again. We'll never have anyone other than a Democrat in office again. will be somehow, will Joe Biden and then Kamala will have dictatorial powers for the rest of their lives. Watch. With, of course, Schumer and Pelosi and all the rest of them pulling the strings in the background.
All right, I'm back. What'd I miss?
The For the People Act. Is that what we were talking about?
No, I was talking about HR 1.
HR 1.
HR 1. There's the link to it if you want to look at
it. HR 1. Let's go ahead and
it's super freaking long.
New window.
Never Enough Ammo went over it last night. We were talking about it. I was talking about it on Hit or Miss. I've been on about this bill for like the past 3 or 4 days because it is scary. It literally will ruin and make our country collapse.
Well, let's take a look at it because this may be in a tangential way related to guns.
You want your fear mongering? This is the epitome of fear mongering right here.
HR 1 is the For the People Act. So this is what Clint was talking about.
Yes, it's awful.
So the summary of it for HR 1, 117th Congress. So it's in Congress right now. This bill addresses voter access, election integrity and security, campaign finance, and ethics for the 3 branches of government. Specifically, the bill expands voter registration, automatic and same-day registration, and voting access, vote by mail, and early voting. It also limits removing voters from voter rolls. The bill requires states to establish independent redistricting commissions to carry out congressional redistricting. Oh, in other words, horrifically gerrymandering things so that the Democrats win. Additionally, the bill sets forth provisions related to election security, including sharing intelligence information with state election officials, supporting states in securing their election systems, developing a national strategy to protect U.S. democratic institutions, establishing in the legislative branch the National Commission to Protect United States Democratic Institutions, and I'm sure they mean a capital D Democrat too, and other provisions to improve the cybersecurity of election systems. Further, the bill addresses campaign finance, including by expanding the prohibition on campaign spending by foreign nationals, requiring additional disclosure of campaign-related fundraising and spending, requiring additional disclaimers regarding certain political advertising, and establishing an alternative campaign funding system for certain federal offices. The bill addresses ethics in all 3 branches of government, including by requiring a code of conduct for Supreme Court justices, prohibiting members of the House from serving on the board for a for-profit entity, and establishing additional conflict of interest and ethics provisions for federal employees in the White House. The bill requires the president, the vice president, and certain candidates for those offices to disclose 10 years of tax returns. In other words, it's stifling free speech, and it's allowing anyone to vote, period, regardless of whether you're supposed to vote. Yeah, it's a vote early, vote often, vote as many times as you want bill.
Yeah, and you don't need to identify yourself anymore when you go to the polls.
You don't need to show ID. Oh, that's wonderful.
Or even a voter registration card.
What? Yeah. This would definitely destroy all of us.
If you don't think this wouldn't destroy our country right here, you got another thing coming. I'm not trying to fearmonger.
Fearmonger.
But this is more terrifying than any other bill out there right now. So, just I'm putting that in perspective for you. All right, take it off me.
Wow. Defense Dad says I'm going to have to brush up my archery and slingshot skills, I guess. Don't bother, because they'll take those too.
They'll take that too.
I mean, look where England went. Fucking butter knives. There's one.
Going to jail.
Yeah, if you have a sharpened pencil, they'll send your ass to jail.
If you use it, only if you use it wrongly. No, you can't go John Wick on anybody, because if you do, off to jail.
The poor conservative calls it the For the Sheeple Act. Wow, Biden's also talking about a peace deal with the Taliban and splitting the government control of Afghanistan. Awesome.
Oh, boy.
Patriot says, wow, I'm glad at least people are starting to talk about H.R. 1. Weeks ago, I was called crazy.
No, I've been following it. I didn't know that it was already been voted on. It's already been voted on.
Bill Alexander asks, which, by the way, that's a name I haven't seen out there. Welcome. Bill Alexander asks, when does the war start? Anyone? I would say the war has started a long time ago. We're just still in the cold phase of it.
Yeah. And for anyone wondering, H.R. 1 was agreed to in the House on passage passed by the yeas and nays. The yeas were 220. The nays were 210. So.
What a damn shame.
Well, it was nice knowing you. It was a nice country while it lasted.
Yeah.
It's over.
Nah, it ain't there yet. It ain't there yet. I still have hope that we can turn things around, because while at the federal level some skullduggery is happening, there's good stuff happening at the state level. Like, no, not Night Strike. Let me switch that source back to what I want here. Here in Kansas.
I am a source for good.
In Kansas, apparently, doesn't Gizzard Gary live in Kansas?
He does.
I will blame this on Gary, or give him the credit for this. This is from the Mercury, Manhattan, Kansas, themercury.com. Damn it, where's the... Oh, it's going to want to make me subscribe. You son of a bitch. Really? I don't want to... That sucks.
Yeah, go back.
There we go. Kansas House passes bill to lower concealed carry age to 18. From the Associated Press, March 8th, 2021. Topeka. A bill to lower the legal age to carry concealed firearms in Kansas from 21 to 18 won final passage Thursday in the Kansas House. The State House approved the bill on a 85 to 38 vote, sending it to the Senate. The bill's support came mostly from Republicans, surprise, who say that those under 21 are eligible to vote and serve in the military. Opponents say those under 21 are less mature and more prone to risk-taking, and maybe they shouldn't be voting and serving in the military. People as young as 18 can already carry firearms in the open in Kansas. The legislation would require those under 21 to complete a background check and undergo safety training to carry concealed firearms, which is currently required for those 21 and older. The legislation would significantly increase the number of university and college students in Kansas eligible to carry concealed firearms on campus. The House rejected amendments from Democrats on Wednesday that would allow universities to decide whether to allow concealed carry on campuses and ban concealed weapons in the State House. The House Federal and State Affairs Committee held a hearing on the bill, but the chairman opted not to hold a vote. State Representative Stephen Owens, a Heston Republican, then offered it as an amendment to another bill on the floor. So, good for you, Kansas. It seems that things are moving in the proper direction there. That is awesome. But you're not the only state that's good stuff, in which good stuff is happening. We also have this news out of Missouri from Fox2Now.com. Missouri House passed people with concealed carry licenses could soon bring their firearms on public transit in Missouri. The Missouri House took up the legislation Monday afternoon, and 124 of the 163 members voted in favor of the measure. House Bill 52, sponsored by Representative Adam Schnelting, would allow guns on public transit, like the Metrolink in St. Louis, as long as the person has a concealed carry permit. Lawmakers have said this legislation is something they've been trying to push for years. Under HB 52, with a permit, a person can bring firearms on publicly funded transportation systems like buses and trains. If someone does not have a permit, he or she can still transport a firearm on a bus as long as the weapon is in a non-functioning state. Snelting said criminals who ride public transportation already carry firearms, and this would protect Missourians from them and their Second Amendment rights. The legislation assures the right to self-defense for those that have undergone the CCW firearms training, weapons training, Schnelting said. Across the aisle, Democrats said this measure is something that could create more of a problem. What do you think the chances are that somebody else in the general public gets hurt if we pass a law like this in those kinds of conditions? Representative Wiley Price, Democrat, St. Louis, asked Schnelting. He responded by saying next to none. The temperament on the bus in the summer in St. Louis can be kind of hostile without weapons, and so I think if you added weapons to this circus, I think it could be problematic for the general public, Price said. Let's translate that. You people are stupid and you can't handle the responsibility that comes with having guns. Only the criminals who already carry them can handle the responsibility, unlike you law-abiding peasants.
And the cops we don't trust, and the military and the government we don't trust.
Yeah. Price agreed with Schnelting that criminals have firearms regardless of the law, but he said it's easier for them to access guns in the state due to relaxed gun laws that they don't follow. We're about to make a bill that could probably create more problems than it's going to stop. Could probably, Price said. You should absolutely always have the right to defend yourself in any situation. Okay, then shut the fuck up and don't say what you're about to say. I just don't know if adding weapons to that. The analogy we always use is, in this body, is the only way to stop a gun is a gun, and I think that's a terrible misconception. The bill does not allow anyone to carry a gun on Amtrak. HB 52 now heads to the Senate for approval. You should be allowed to carry a gun anywhere if you're allowed to carry it. But I'm just a fat guy with a camera and a microphone. What the hell do I know? And not all the Republicans have been spineless jellyfish when it came to these gun control bills that passed today. We're going to listen to a little bit from Republican Representative Chip Roy. The government is never going to know what weapons I own. While speaking, this is from Breitbart. While speaking about House Democrats' gun control push on Wednesday, Representative Chip Roy, Republican, Texas, made clear the government is never going to know what weapons I own. Roy said these things as H.R. 8, the Democrats' universal background checks legislation, is being debated. Universal background checks require a gun registry in order to be enforceable, and Roy was making clear he was not going to be giving up information on his guns. The first on TV quoted Roy saying, "The government is never going to know what weapons I own. Let me be clear about that. It's not going to happen." So let's go ahead and give a listen to this. Sorry, Night Strike. I know you won't be able to hear it.
I thank the gentleman from Ohio. Right now in South Texas, there are American citizens whose lives are in danger because of wide open borders as a direct result of Biden's border crisis and the policies of the Democratic leadership of this body and the Senate. American citizens are unsafe. I'm not making that up. For the last 2 years, I've heard my Democrat colleagues talking about a fake crisis at our border. There's nothing fake about 100,000 people coming across our border, or high-speed chases through Uvalde, Texas, or high-speed chases in Rial County, which I represent. There is nothing fake about that. Break-ins, lives in danger, people who own ranches. And now my Democratic colleagues, after defunding the police, opening up our borders, want to take away our God-given right, yes, God-given right to defend ourselves under the Second Amendment. That's what this is about. This is about creating a gun registry to track guns of the American people. There is no way to implement what the Democrats are trying to implement without doing that. And I can just tell you straight up, Texans, Americans, the government is never going to know what weapons I own. Let me be clear about that. It's not going to happen. We have a God-given right to defend our families, defend our state, and defend ourselves against tyranny, and we will do that regardless of the inerrant policies that this Democratic Congress is trying to jam through.
Good on him. Breitbart News noted that the Obama administration admitted the necessity of a gun registry as they pushed for universal background checks in the wake of the December 14, 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School attack. On January 4, 2013, National Institute of Justice Deputy Director Greg Ridgway observed universal background checks need to be coupled with a gun registry in order to be effective. He did this in a document titled Summary of Select Firearm Violence Prevention Strategies. In the summary section of the document, Ridgway noted that requiring gun registration one of the key components of making universal background checks effective. He briefly elaborated. Most states do not have a registry of firearm ownership. Currently, NICS background checks are destroyed within 24 hours. Some states maintain registration of all firearms. Gun registration aims to 1. increase owner responsibility by directly connecting an owner with a gun, and 2, improve law enforcement's ability to retrieve guns from owners prohibited from possessing firearms, which, when they get around to prohibiting everybody, means you. Gun registration also allows for the monitoring of multiple gun purchases in a short period of time. Because, you know, how many guns you buy and when you buy them is their business. The ties between universal background checks and firearm registration highlight the insidious nature of universal checks to begin with. They are one gun control that leads to multiple other gun controls. And the anti-gunners know this. That's why they rammed it through the House. That's why they're going to try to ram it through the Senate, possibly even at the expense of getting rid of the legislative filibuster. Pay attention to this, people, because how they treat the Second Amendment tells you how they're planning to treat all the rest of your rights, how they're planning to treat everything that's in the Constitution. They know that they have to get rid of the Second Amendment in order to get rid of all the rest of it. They have to get rid of and nullify your ability to resist tyranny so that they can impose tyranny. Again, fat loudmouth with a camera and a microphone. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Of course, they'll tell you I'm wrong, but they lie. Let me go see what's going on out in the chat. Guy that comment said St. Louis is the last place I'd expect people to not have something. Let's see. Everybody who's down for voter ID laws, are you willing to cough up $30 to $50 per voter? Yeah, no kidding. Clint Torres says the crime around St. Louis public transportation is off the charts. The criminals go where folks are unarmed. Yeah, well, duh. Of course they do. You know, wolves love toothless sheepdogs, right? If the sheepdogs can't bite, the wolf's job is so much easier. So, yeah, there's that. There is another, let me see, I believe there is one more piece of good news. Cawthorn to Democrats, come and take them. Representative Madison Cawthorn, R., North Carolina, used floor debate Wednesday to call out Democrats' proposed gun grab and said if they want his, they will need to come and take them. He added, let me be clear to everyone in this chamber. You will not take this right away from us. I know it's easy to be sucked into the D.C. bubble, but outside of here in real America, when we say come and take it, we damn well mean it. Cawthorn then criticized the left's blind pursuit of gun control, warning, if you think this bastardization of the Constitution will be met with silence, you know nothing of the America I know. You want my guns, I know it. We all know it. Well, Mr. Speaker, you can come and take them. So let's go ahead and listen to this video of this.
You want my guns. I know it. We all know it. Well, Mr. Speaker, you can come and take them. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New York.
So good for you. Of course, going back to the H.R. 1446 and H.R. 8, there is going to be a struggle for them to get this passed. They don't have the necessary 60 votes. But it's doable. It's doable, and that's what frightens me. That's why we, as Second Amendment aware people, need to be on our senators about this. Particularly if we have one of those senators who might go one way or the other, depending upon political convenience. we have to let them know that they'll be held accountable at the ballot box. We have to let them know that they'll be held accountable by us withholding our financial support. We have to let them know that they'll be held accountable by us supporting and voting for their opponent, regardless of whether or not it crosses party lines or not. Even though that might still be an anti-gun vote, I think it's time we start sending a message to the anti-gun, quote-unquote, Republicans, the RINOs, the people who are supposed to be pro-gun, who've said they're pro-gun, but aren't. We need to hold them accountable for not acting like it. And if that means punishing them with our votes, that means punishing them with our votes. Ideally, we can primary their asses out of there, but that's a little bit harder to primary out an incumbent, as we're going to be seeing here in Ohio, trying to get rid of our wonderful Governor DeWine in favor of someone much more friendly to the Second Amendment, but we're still trying. Let's see, in the comments, Wheeled and Well Armed is out there, says this will not go through the Senate reconciliation and 16 GOP votes will be hard to get. Yes, it will, and I hope you're absolutely right, but we still need to be on it, and we still need to be on them and let them know we're watching them. Let's see, what else? Patriot in the Dark says, I'll stay away from St. Louis. I went through there once, got an ex-wife and a kid out of the deal. The kid's great. Yeah, I went through St. Louis once when I was 18. I was taking a Greyhound trip to Arizona, and we had a layover in St. Louis, and someone tried to mug me. It didn't work out too well for him. I beat the ever-loving dog shit out of him right there in the St. Louis bus terminal. But, yeah, they tried. Failed, but tried. So screw St. Louis. Let's see. Rich White says they don't need 16 Republicans, they need 10, and which is true. All right, so that's what I have for the main topics tonight, Yep. And I didn't bother getting any moron of the week because there's 8 people that won it already. And those are the 8 Republicans that voted for this gun control bullshit. They are the morons of the week. I mean, that's just it. I will utilize executive privilege and just make them the morons. So that means...
Whoa. Hold on there. Hold on there. We at least have to make room for the president. He's still the moron of the week.
That shtick got old.
No, it never gets old.
That shtick got old. I stopped using it.
Oh, man.
So now we move on to Roll Call 219's favorite segment, Self-Defense Shoutouts. Yay! For those of you who are new to the show or who have never stuck around to the end, self-defense shoutouts are not where I'm reveling in the proposition that the bad guy won the room temperature challenge by taking a dirt nap. It's where I'm in fact reveling in the proposition that he had the means, method, and opportunity to prevent the bad guy from making him do the same, where the good guy had the means, method, and opportunity to prevent the bad guy from making him do the same. Jeez, I really need to just record an intro for this segment and be done with it. I've been saying that for what, 3-4 years, but haven't yet.
One for moron of the week, but you decided not to do it. So
yeah, I know, right? I need to do one for shoutouts. But anyhow, yeah, shoutouts. This is where the good guy stops the bad guy. So first up is this piece from WGNTV.com. Man shot by 69-year-old concealed carry. Chicago. A 69-year-old concealed carry holder shot one of 3 men who tried to rob him. Police said the man was on the 10600 block of South Leavitt Street around 10:35 p.m. Tuesday when 3 men approached him and demanded his belongings. The 69-year-old, who is a licensed concealed carry holder, took out his gun and shot one of the suspects in the knee. The 3 men fled the scene in a red Ford Fusion, which later crashed on the 8700 block of South Vincennes Street. The 3 men then fled on foot and were apprehended by police shortly after. All 3 were taken into custody. The incident is under investigation. So, good for you, sir. I'm glad you had that concealed weapons permit, in Chicago even. So, good for you.
Because he jumped through a lot of hoops.
Yeah. And I'm glad he did. And I'm absolutely certain that at this time, he's glad about it too. This is from theblaze.com from March 5th. Granddad shoots... How about stop pop-up ads? Granddad shoots one of 2 armed home invaders in ill-fated heist. And victim's granddaughter came up with the idea for the crime, cops say. The good news? A 65-year-old Florida homeowner successfully fought back against 2 armed home invaders Thursday morning, managing to turn the tables on the pair by using his own gun and shooting one of them before they took off from his Pensacola residence, WKRG-TV reported. The bad news? The victim's granddaughter came up with the idea for the ill-fated heist, authorities told the station. Cynthia Register and her friends were trying to come up with bail money for another friend when Register said her grandfather had some, the station said. And then they hatched a plan to rob Register's grandfather, WKRG reported. So just before 4 a.m., Tayari Career and Jamarcus, is what I'm going to guess, Jamarcus Cromwell, entered the home of Register's grandfather in the 7300 block of West Jackson Street. Escambia County Sheriff Chip Simmons. Chip Simmons, really? The Escambia County Sheriff Chip Simmons. Sounds like the sportscaster's name. Next, we're going to sportscaster Chip Simmons. But anyhow, offered a bit of a play-by-play on what happened next. Mind you, Cynthia Register, granddaughter, does not go in the house. Why? Because she knows that Grandpa has a gun. So she decides to stay outside, Simmons said, but she allows Tayari Creer and Jamarcus Cromwell to enter the home. And granddaughter was right. Granddaddy did have a gun. He did use the gun because he was being burglarized. So Granddaddy shot Cromwell in the chest area, and then they fled the home. Creer and Cromwell climbed in a vehicle and drove off, but they wrecked the car a few blocks away, the sheriff's office said. Then another vehicle pulled up to the crash site and drove away with both suspects, authorities said, adding that the 2 suspects were dropped off at a local hospital where they were met by deputies. Natalie Gagney was the driver who picked up Creer and Cromwell after they wrecked their vehicle, the sheriff's office said. It was discovered that Register, Gagney, Creer, Cromwell, as well as Clint Hochhalter and Dominique Gonzalez, came up with the plan to grab Register's grandfather after Register pitched the idea to the group, authorities said. Register and Hochhalter have been arrested and charged with armed home invasion robbery, the sheriff's office said, while Gagney, Creer, Gonzalez, and Cromwell were arrested and charged with armed home invasion robbery. So, good.
Look at the ages of these people.
I'm not even looking. Born in 03, 01, 01. They're all like 20 or so. 18 to 20.
18 to 20, yeah.
Scumbags.
Yep.
Especially this bitch right here. And yes, I know that's a misogynist term, but it fits with this one because she is a bitch. You're going to have somebody rob your grandfather? And she should have been the first one shot. Honestly, to be a betrayer like that. What a piece of shit.
Yep.
I should come up with a segment piece of shit of the week, and she'd win this one.
Don't hurt family because, you know, don't do anything to family because family is the only thing that's going to back you up. All these other assholes won't back you up when the shit hits the fan.
That's right. And last but most certainly not. Oh, come on, really? I don't want to.
Oh, great o'clock. Oh, yeah, I was reading about this one earlier.
Son of a bitch. There, now.
Actually, I think whatchamacallit had well, don't type it. Don't do that on air, dude.
All right. Armed citizen stops robbery suspect at Chick-fil-A in Atlanta, police said. An armed person stopped an attempted robbery in Atlanta this week, police said. On March 8th, around 3:03 p.m., officers responded to a Chick-fil-A on Peachtree Street. Upon arrival, officers spoke with witnesses who stated a black male walked inside, produced a firearm, and demanded money from several employees. The employees fled, and the suspect exited the business a short time later. Several nearby citizens confronted the suspect as he was leaving. One of the citizens was armed, and at some point during the confrontation, the citizen fired several shots. The suspect ran on foot and was apprehended nearby by the citizens and held until police arrived, the Atlanta Police Department said in a preliminary update sent to the Epoch Times. The suspect's weapon was recovered. No one was struck by the gunfire, and charges are pending against the robbery suspect. No charges have been filed against the citizen, and the investigation continues, the department added. The suspect was identified as Willie Gloston IV, 23. The arrest report does not show an address for Gloston. The suspect was charged with armed robbery, aggravated assault, and possessing of a firearm during the commission of a felony. He's being held in the Fulton County Jail. So, good.
You know, this was in Atlanta?
Yes.
Are they sure it wasn't in Kennesaw?
Yeah, right.
The reason I say this is because I lived in Atlanta, specifically in Kennesaw. And in Kennesaw, there's a law in the books from like the 80s that says every citizen is required to own a gun. Now, they don't enforce the law, but it's on the books.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always thought that was pretty damn awesome.
And I do want to mention, since I lived in Kennesaw, I also know where all the Chick-fil-A's in Atlanta are. So if this was at the one in Kennesaw, all right. But if this was the one, you know, further out in main Atlanta, then, you know, there's still going to be people with guns out there. Because, you know, FYI, Georgians love their guns.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Georgians don't like guns.
Even in Atlanta, they love their guns.
I used to live in Georgia, dude.
Yeah.
When I was young, down by Fort Stewart in Hinesville, Midway area.
The one thing
I still have family down there, and they are all their necks are redder than these parts of my hat, and love them all to death. Damn sure will never give up their guns.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Atlanta's a great place. It's got everything, but the only problem is everybody's too close together, you know? And I just don't like big cities anymore.
I've never liked them.
No. So.
Never. So, that's it,
Pickle
folks.
Boy jumped in.
That's all we have for, what? Jumped in what, huh?
Pickle Boy's here.
Pickle's here just as I'm fixing to leave. What's up, Pickle?
Hey, sorry, I just got off work, so
Aw.
I figured I'd at least jump in so I could, say that the show's been pretty good tonight.
Well, thank you. Do you have anything to add over anything we've discussed today?
No, sounds like you guys took care of it pretty well.
All right, we did good at fear mongering.
Woohoo! Join your fearmongers local.
I'm a member.
That's it. I'm gonna spend some time tonight, and I'm gonna make that sticker up too. Fearmongers local. What number should I name the local?
101. You know, pick a number you like. It doesn't have to be a number I like. You're the one making.
I'm trying to think of something that has some sort of meaning to it that's Second Amendment related.
2A.
Fearmongers. When was the 1791? Right, that's when the Constitution was ratified.
1791. There you go.
Yep. 2A Fearmongers Local 1791. That's it.
There you go.
We are going to have that sticker available soon. So yeah. Piss on it. I will embrace the fearmongery. Because, if you're a monger, that means you're selling something, right? So since fearmongers stir up fear to make a profit, I might as well sell stickers.
And fishmongers sell fish.
That's right. So, I'd like to say thank you to Night Strike for being here, even though, I quarked him and bad budget. Bad! But thank you for coming
technical difficulties?
Yeah, well, this is my show. That's expected. So do you have anything that you would like to leave us with, Night Strike? Anything you'd like to plug? Where can people find Night Strike? And, by the way, tell them about this wonderful platform we're using to host the meeting here, GunTube.
Yeah, check out guntube.org. Great place. Check out the store. New stuff coming on the store soon. Also, check out Night Strike 1 on YouTube. You know, we do hit or miss every Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock. Normally we do Thursday night chats on 7 o'clock, but budget had to be difficult this evening. So.
Yep, I did. I had to be a jerky McJerkface.
Yes, you did. And I will try and do the Friday night strike this week, and you know I'm doubling down on that. So I'm gonna schedule it even. So
awesome.
There you go.
Well, Pickle, Calaveras 32 special. I'm glad that you could hop by, even though it was ever so brief. Is there anything you'd like to leave us with? Anything you would like to say? Anything you would like to plug?
The only thing I'd like to say is that's for with all this stuff going on, that's for, you know, as a 2A community, if we can bury our, you know, our representatives, senators, whatever other level, you know, from city all the way up with as much paperwork and, you know, and politely worded, you know, strongly worded, you know, letters and lawsuits and everything else, I think that's going to be our best bet to try to minimize the damage of this whole thing. So, you know, because once they pass it, you know, lawsuits are great, but it's going to take years, and you know, there's no judge that's going to give us a stay on it. They're going to enforce all this junk until we finally can get it thrown out.
It is a lot better to stop it now than to try to repeal it later. I want to thank everybody out there who came by and spent this hour or so with us on a Thursday evening. Remember, tomorrow night there will not be a Ride of the People. That's why we did it tonight. Budget is going camping Saturday morning, so it has to get up early. I just want to say thank you to everybody out there who's watched this, particularly from those of you who've been here from beginning to end. I'd like to welcome the new folks. I'm glad that you stopped by to be part of the conversation. If you're listening to this on the replay or via podcast format, come over to the replay. Sound off in the comments below. I want to hear from you. Until then, you know, I think we need to do exactly what Pickle said. We need to bury our senators in paperwork, in, well, you know, snail mail, email, telephone, telegraph, bicycle messengers, carrier pigeons, smoke signals, heliograph, semaphore, anything we have to do to let them know what we think about this gun control bullshit, and never, ever, ever give up the fight. I'll see you guys on the next one.